Okay, not seeing anyone raise their hand at this time. We will move on to the member refusals. As you are aware, I will be stepping down for items number 1 and item number 4 on today's agenda. I will rejoin the meeting at the end to close everything out. So that's my side of it. Bobby, when he does join in, will be recusing himself for the very first item. And Kevin Small will be recusing himself for the last 2. With that said, we'll move on to the agenda status report.
I have nothing to report for the agenda status report.
Okay, perfect. I'm looking at the list of listeners at this time, and I don't see, is Kevin, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Bobby, are you there as well? Okay, so with that, we will move on to the minutes, meeting minutes of August 26th and September 21st. With your packet, you received the meeting minutes for the August meeting, short meeting for September. Were there any changes that you'd like to make at this time to the August 26th meeting?
Well, item number 1, the first bullet point, does that make any sense, the middle of it? Need to see building architecture and that with the landscaping near the buildings. That's supposed to mean something.
Good.
There we go.
Concerned with the heights of things.
Yeah,
Locating the trees and all that stuff.
need to see building architecture and that with the landscaping near buildings.
Yeah, I think we said we needed to see the building architecture and the landscaping near the building.
Well, that makes more sense.
Other additions or corrections. Okay, with no other additional corrections or revisions, I'll ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 26th at this time.
I'll make the motion and we approve the.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
On item 3, didn't we ask for cross sections through there?
Yes.
Through that site,
We did
in
indeed.
2 directions.
We did. Yes, you are correct, Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for catching that.
Showing the topography.
It says provide cross sections that show the grade at the road, the structure, and the hillside from 2 directions to indicate grade changes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's on the next page.
It's on the
I'm
next
sorry.
page. Shannon.
Okay, thank you, Shannon.
No problem.
With that, there is a motion and a second on the floor. We vote these minutes as corrected or as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, who was the second for that?
I made the motion. Steve.
Didn't I hear Kevin say second?
No, I didn't, but I will
Oh, there you go.
if that helps move it along.
That's what we'll be doing. All right, thank you. So moving now on to the meeting minutes for September 21st. This was a discussion to continue our Zoom meetings.
I wasn't there.
I have no changes to make to it.
Neither do I.
For those that were there. You say aye?
Aye.
You guys are breaking up. I don't.
Yeah.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Very much, gentlemen.
I think it's Michael's that's doing it, the breakup.
Yeah.
So sad.
Michael, we can't hear you.
It's sad.
Okay, well, that's okay. Thank you guys for joining. All right, at this time, we'll go over in-bar informational briefings. Has anybody had any contact with applicants, supervisors, or planning staff?
No.
No, I have not.
Moving on to staff update.
I don't have anything for you today.
Thank you. And I believe this meeting is in line with the time limitations for consideration of the COVID emergency state and whether or not we will continue our meetings via Zoom. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to continue our Zoom meetings until such time as physical in-person meetings, a place to meet, become available to us. All in favor of continuing our.
I think we need a second. I'll second.
Very good. All in favor of continuing our Zoom meetings as we have been doing this past few months? Say aye.
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 Michael, I'm having trouble
Michael-
hearing you.
Michael, your microphone's not working right.
Is that any better?
That is much better.
Okay.
You'll have to quit multitasking.
Sorry about that. All right, with that said, we will continue our Zoom meetings. And at this time, we will continue on with the standard agenda. As indicated previously, I will be stepping down for this first item. So with that, Jim,
Hello.
I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you. This is the Adam Brothers Farming Carton Storage 00068. Is anybody going to present? Anybody?
Hi, everyone. This is Tina Mitchell, planner for the project. I just wanted to make a quick note that the previous minutes for this item said to return for preliminary, but based on my review of the plans, I thought you may want the option for prelim and final, so that's how it's agendized today. I do believe we have Randall Arkey here to present. Are you there, Randall?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Take it away, Randall.
Yeah, okay. So I think the last BR meeting, you guys wanted to see some photos of the site and surrounding buildings. And if you go to page A2.1, you can see those buildings
Mhm.
on the site.
Has somebody got those drawings available? Or-
Oh, yeah. We need a presenter.
I can,
Plans.
share the plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Mike said Jonathan was gonna add those drawings.
If you just let me know where to scroll through, I can start going through this
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, go to sheet A 2.1. I don't know what number that is.
About 5.
I think it's all the way at the bottom.
Yeah,
10 of 11.
11.
11.
No, sheet 10 out of 11.
There we go.
Yeah, so you guys wanted to see what the other buildings look on site, and those are the other buildings, and they pretty much are going to look the same as the proposed building. I think you guys questioned the color of the panels. The panels are going to be galvalium, which is zinc and aluminum coating.
Are there 3 separate buildings there, or is that the back of the big one?
No, those are just 3. I think there's like 10 or 11 buildings on the
Okay.
site.
And the stack of pallets is what's going to go inside the new building, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Everything you see in that top right picture is going to go in the
Except for the cars.
So.
The
Yeah.
So it's going to clean up the site a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and all the buildings look the same on site. If you've driven by there, you didn't really have pictures of the other buildings. They're closer to the. I don't know what road is that? Bettaravia or. But those all have the same metal siding, basically.
What do you have
Another thing I
specified
want to
for the
point out-
siding?
What was that?
What is the siding you specified on this?
It's a 7.2 galvalium coated panels. I think.
Galvalume?
Yeah. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Well, I guess they're PBR panels. Just standard
Okay,
PBR
so
panels.
are they
Yeah.
was that McElroy? Or
I'm not sure who.
I'm familiar with the panel anyway. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a standard R panel.
Okay.
So they all kind of match, right, Steve?
Yeah, they are. If it's that PR profile, then they all
PBR.
basically, they're basically all the same.
So which one of the buildings in the photos is next to the new one proposed one? Bottom left?
Building number 10, I believe, and building 11 is kind of.
Well, okay.
the-
There's 2 pictures of
Yeah.
building 10, so that must be the front and the back, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
The top left corner is the back, and then below that is front facing east, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys wanted to see what's surrounding the buildings, like on the backside of the property, and there's pretty much just fields.
Right.
Well, these are pretty
Literally
basic
full.
agricultural buildings.
Right. And the new building is
Yeah.
about the same size as number 10, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's going to look exactly the same as that.
Yeah.
So, and I think on the last meeting, Kevin, you wanted to see some like overhang on the rake end of the building.
I think that was my comment actually.
Yeah.
But now that I see these really don't have any.
Yeah. And the other thing is they already ordered the building, I believe. So
Well,
Yeah.
the
that
building's
doesn't-
already sitting on.
I'm
site
okay
just
with
for
it.
him.
but that really doesn't count.
Yeah. So,
Any
Yeah.
comments? Any questions from the board?
I don't. It seems to be in scale and similar to everything that's there. So
I agree.
Yeah.
Anybody from the public need a comment?
If you'd like to have a comment on this item, please raise your hand. We have nobody in the attendees currently.
Yeah, this is pretty consistent with everything else that's out there. So I'm good with it as well.
Are
so.
the colors listed on the plan somewhere?
yeah, it's on A 2.0.
down in the little notes? Okay.
Can you
See that at the top left corner? Go down. Oh wait,
Lower right?
go up. Go up. Go up. No, the other way down. I mean,
The other up?
right there, the elevations, and it's in the top left corner of the sheet.
I think you got to go
It
down
keeps
2
the
more
panel
sheets.
color.
One more. There you go.
No, it's noted on the elevation sheet on A 2.0.
It says,
The top left corner of A 2.0. Right there. PBR
just-
panel color, cal value. And that's the color of all the panels on all the buildings, or all the similar buildings on site, I guess. All the floors.
so the shape's okay, the placement's okay, the colors, the matching. So anybody want to move for approval? Final?
I'll make the motion for approval.
A second?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Do we have a second?
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's passed.
Sorry, that was Steve that motioned and Kevin second.
No, it was, I think Jim motioned and I seconded. Steve seconded.
Small was the first, Reese was the second.
Okay, I'm having trouble. I can't hear Kevin at all, so.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Went dead air. So you're passed. You have a final.
Nice.
Next on the agenda is item 2, Shepherd Addition and Garage, and Michael's coming back.
All right, so we'll begin with item number 2, BR number 22-00092, the Shepherd Addition and Garage. If their representative is available, please introduce yourself for the record and begin your presentation.
Hi, yeah, my name is Trevor Kruger. I'm here with Mike Shepard, the owner. What we're doing is, I don't know if one of you guys has the plans you can put up. I don't know how to do that. Maybe Tina has them. She can, or Shannon, one of them. We had our initial review a couple months ago, had our plan check review with Tina. And so we had to do a slight redesign. So the main single family dwelling is now towards the north end of the property. And then the proposed 2-car garage is going to be towards the south end next to the existing metal building. I don't know if somebody has the plans they can put up. We can show you guys. Most of the concerns last time was there was a lot of garage doors.
Well, hold up a second. I'm still seeing the Holly Sugar project, so.
Say that again.
Jonathan, can you share your screen and put up item number 2?
Yes, 1 second.
Must
All
be
right.
sunspots today.
So here's our site. I ended up modifying the original title sheet to show you guys the existing site plan and the proposed site plan. And then it has the front elevation. In the last meeting, we had more garage doors and we had more finishes proposed. So we simplified it. We went with less garage doors, less finishes. We're using more of the same stone on both buildings for continuity, keeping the color scheme the same. And then the light fixtures proposed are gonna have to be modified one more time per the land use because they need more coverage, less light shining
Night
out.
sky. Yeah.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
This doesn't the street slope quite a bit? And how does
Oh.
the lot work with the slope?
So the lot follows, the lot is pretty much level. The street slopes more than the lot does itself. There's very minimal slope on the lot from front to back. Where the metal building is, it's actually raised up from the street.
The
So
street
it
drops,
doesn't quite.
the street drops
the street
away
drops.
from it. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So it's pretty uniform. I would say if anything, it's not shown in the elevation, but there might be like a 5 or 6 inch change in elevation between each building. But that would be about it.
And so the driveway from your middle building to the street
Yeah.
drops how much? Just
I would say probably at least 2 feet, possibly 3 feet.
how are you handling the grade change with the driveway?
So
Is
that's just that's existing. We're not adjusting that that gravel driveway for the metal building. We're not addressing that at all. It's existing, staying as is.
I think, Jim, I think you were talking about the middle building, right?
The middle building, yeah. The middle,
Well, the middle building, gotcha.
Middle, not metal, middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
sounds-
the middle, yeah, the middle single car garage.
yeah.
It's gonna just slope towards the street. That one's only gonna be about a foot higher than the street elevation, so it'll just slope right down.
So that's what, about 10%, 20%?
It would be over about 15 feet. So what is that, about 15%?
Make sure that you design it in such a way that you don't bottom the car out.
Is there a grading plan for this, Jim?
No, I don't see one. Because you don't want to create a problem.
Is it,
If I'm calculating that right in my head, I could be.
is there a, maybe Tina can answer this. Is there a parkway at all on this street, or is it paved right up to the property line, or is there curbs or gutters or anything like that?
I think it's
I
asphalt.
didn't catch it all.
The question was whether or not there was curb and gutter, and if the paving went right up to the property line, or if there was a parkway.
So currently there's no curb and gutter. All we're going to be installing is an apron and a curb for the new garages in front of the new residences right there. The proposed residence and garage. So currently it's just asphalt, and then there's just parking on dirt up until the property line. And then there's an existing fence right on the property line. And so that's currently the existing conditions.
You should probably show the streets, where the center lines are and where the asphalt ends and that sort of thing. And if you've got a really steep slope, you need to transition it, a slope and then less slope and then flat to make sure that you don't bottom out these 4-inch off the ground cars. So that needs to be something you need to look at.
Okay, Mike came up with a calculation of just under 7% slope.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty flat, yeah. Well, one other question is, I know we talked about this a little bit before, and I think somebody was going to check it out, but that existing building on the, I guess that's the north side. No, sorry, it's the east side. That looks like it extends over the property line. What's the situation there?
So the existing metal building does not extend over the property line. Oh, the neighboring property. So it is existing, and then based on the plan review with Tina, we had our setback of 10, I believe it was 10 feet for the new structure, and then the existing structure is exempt based on its current location.
Or
And
is there
so
going to
that
be an easement for that, or how are you going to handle that?
It's just the beauty of Orchid.
It's legal
all screwed up.
non-conforming. Legal non-conforming, crossing the property line.
Really? Wow.
there's a lot of houses in Orchid that are on property lines and over property lines. And they just approximated it.
Okay.
Any other concerns you guys can see from the?
Can you pan up to see the elevations a little bit clearer, please?
And then there's also the rear and side elevations on some other sheets further down.
How do I guess the question I have is how the stone material in particular terminates back at the, is that in the same plane? It looks like it's slightly different on the lead unit there. How does it terminate on the north side?
You should go down to A3.
Yeah, if we scroll down to A3, the elevations, I returned it back about 18 inches or 2 feet.
Because when I look at the Dyer Street elevation, it looks like the face of the stone is lined up with the face of the building above.
So the garages actually protrude out further.
Right. But I mean, in plane, if the stone is probably, it's just veneers, obviously, so it's probably 3 or 4 inches thick. So would it not extend out further?
It only extends out about an inch,
Okay.
which is the same thickness as like a 2x4 corner piece of wood trim. So you can see it returns back.
Are we talking about on the north elevation of that?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Where it returns from the west elevation to the north elevation there.
Yeah. So the stone's only about an inch thick, and then once you put it on like some hardy backer underneath, it ends up being the same thickness as the 2x4 trim for the siding.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that details out correctly, how they transition from one material to the other. And why did you run the shed roof that's over the garage door? Why did you go to the floor line instead of the plate line when you put your little roof on there?
The entrance as well.
Well, the entrance
maybe, but
is that's another issue that
yeah.
But I would probably look better if you lowered it down to get rid of some of the stone material over the door, or put a wooden trim piece across the door as though it was a header or beam. There's some things you can do to detail that a little nicer, but take a look at lowering it down to the plate height rather than the floor level. I know you did it another place for another reason, but there it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, it might though, Jim, because of otherwise that bay is cantilevered out.
No, yeah, I mean just lowering it, because I think the bay and the garage are in the same plane face when I was looking at it.
Can I just confirm that comment real quick? Did you say recommend carrying material over door from floor line to plate line? Is that?
No, lowering the, I guess you'd call it a shed roof over the garage door, lowering it a foot basically to the
floor
to the top plate rather than the floor line.
So make the garage
less that's structural.
Yeah.
Say it again.
It may be structural to complete that diaphragm.
Nah, the diaphragm wouldn't go up beyond the plate line.
Well, no, the beam will have to sit back on the house line, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, lowering it down would get the proportions a little bit nicer, I think.
Okay.
And then I have some comments about the entry.
Okay.
There's a lid that's underneath. You made a little concave recess at the door, and if you look above it when you walk up to the door, there's some material on the lid. I assume you're going to make it out of what? Stucco?
It would probably just be tongue and groove pine. Yeah.
Okay, and you need to figure out the transition between the stone and the wood is going to be awkward there. You might want to use a beam or something as you did at the other door on the other building, or there's got to be a transition from one thing to the other. Also, the I'll call them pillars on either side.
Proportions, yeah.
They're a little bit too skinny. They need to be thicker because it's stone and it's heavy and it's supposed to not look delicate. More like maybe the dimension on the garage, but make them a little bit fatter. I know that they're going to be fatter than that. Once you put the stone on it, you're going to gain another 4 to 6 inches. But if they were a little bit wider and you brought the roof down a little bit to make it a little more stocky, because right now it's kind of tall, I think it might look better. Also, typically the fascias are a little skinny. You might want to increase the size of the fascias another size or two, typically on the house.
Okay. Yeah, these are drawn at 2x6 fascia, but we can go up to a 2x8. It just matches the rest of the neighborhood at a 2x6. A lot of the newer projects, but we can go to a 2x8.
It'll look better. Oh, and the other thing too, your little gable over the door, I'd run it extra long towards the street. And you need to also run it a little bit long on the sides as well, because you have to remember that there's going to be the stone applied to it. So it's going to make them look shorter. So run them another 6 inches or so, 4 to 6 inches sideways to make the, just to make it look right when it's done.
Okay.
And then you got wooden, or what kind of siding is this?
So we're just hardy lap siding, just a 6-inch lap. It's a 7 1/4 board with a 6-inch lap.
Okay. And then what are you doing on the
just a
corners?
standard lap siding.
Is it hardy stuff too, or are you using dimensional?
No, we're going to use dimensional. It's going to be fascia. It's like I believe they call it a hemp fir for the fascia trim. It's not going to be, but it's dimensional lumber. So
okay. One other thing, you don't show any gable vents anywhere. That's another little thing that might add some more interest and detail to the building.
okay.
I don't know what the fire zone is, but I don't think it's high fire.
No, it's within the urban setting, I think. So I think you're exempt from high fire.
Yeah. So look at some gable end vents, nothing extravagant, just like you would see in the neighborhood anyway, rectangular, nice size ones, and it'll add some detail to the gable ends.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Are you going to have to put
are
you going to have to put solar on this?
Yes.
So
They'll have to.
it does not require solar because we're expanding existing residence. On the one over the garage, it would technically require solar for that one.
One over the garage.
So there's going to be a proposed ADU over the garage, which isn't under review because it's exempt, but that one will require solar. But this existing residence, which is expanding the existing residence for this this main house with the 2-car garage. So that one, since it's an expansion of existing residence, it's technically exempt from the solar. So it will come down to the building, but it's technically exempt.
Elevation D on A4, that whole roof then would probably be solar.
The roof facing south on that one would be solar. Let me pull it up here. It's clear on my phone. So on elevation, let's see, elevation D, correct. That one would have solar on it.
If you're just sizing
that
it
is
for the
exempt.
ADU,
That one is,
it would be
that
pretty
portion
minor.
of the structure is exempt.
And you have to assign an area on your bigger building for future solar, correct?
Not my understanding, but it's possible.
No, you don't have to do that, Jim, anymore. You have to, for projects that require solar, you have to actually put the solar on now.
Okay, I was just getting to just to note on there, not to put vent pipes and stuff up through areas, you're going to have panels at some point, so that they can get a nice arrangement of them at some time in the future.
Yeah, I think Trevor's correct that only the ADU is going to require solar.
Yeah.
And
But
it
we
won't
know
be-
that it's probably going to have solar at some point is my point, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Move the vents away from that area. Yeah, I mean, I can easily specify no vents on that, on a certain part of the roof for future solar. That's not a big deal. It's a
Yeah.
simple note.
Well, I think it's a
Well,
it's a convenience for the future.
Yeah, and it's laying out
Yeah.
the plumbing appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of stone are you using? It's on here somewhere.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
It's on the
sheet
title
one.
sheet.
Sheet
Yeah.
one.
So it's Coronado ledgestone, and the color is Caramel Mountain.
Would you like me to go to the first sheet for that?
Yeah,
Yes.
title sheet. Yeah.
Who's manufacturing that?
Coronado.
I've never used Coronado.
I haven't either.
So Mike Shepard here, he's the mason, the owner. He's the expert on that. He can explain this some more.
Ah,
There's like 4 major producers. Coronado's like number 3. And to be completely honest, I have a job that fell through and I have like 6 pallets of it sitting in my yard.
so that's why you love it.
That's why, I like it anyway. You know, I did a job for Todd Edwards at his house, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to do my house." I did the guest house. It was like a $50,000 stone bill on the guest house, and I think he decided I'm not going to do all that stone on my major residence. So I had pallets left over that were supposed to go there, and so my thought was I might as well use it on this.
Well, whenever I do stone that's stacked like this loosely, I always think of it as it's like a non-structural kind of thing, almost visually. So if you're going to span over areas like garage doors and entries and stuff like that, a lintel of some sort or a beam or something visually always kind of helps it aesthetically underneath.
Normally I always like to go with trim around it. Otherwise you can see the joint on the back side. So whenever I do a job, I make sure it's trimmed out all the way around.
Yeah.
So that you don't see that it's only 1 inch thick, because that just takes away from the whole thing in my book.
Yeah, it should look like it was made out of rocks that you get out of the field.
Right, and that's why we returned it on all the corners. Some people just go to the corners and stop. I don't like doing things that way. That's why we returned it a foot and a half on all the corners to make it look like the real deal. And that's why we have the trim, the 2x4 rough sawn trim up against it around the corners, so you don't see the back edge of the stone. So that way it gives you the look like it's real, it's not fake. To me, that's the whole point. Is to not
You're
look
absolutely
fake.
right.
So since we're on this page, you're going to change the light fixture, I guess you said, because right now it's an exposed bulb.
Yeah.
We're going to change it to like a barn type lighting with the dome over the top.
And then the colors,
Plus
you've
it'll
got
have
this
to be
side,
LED.
yeah. Siding color, trim color, and front door. Is the front door color also the garage door colors?
No, the garage door would be the siding color or in just a standard white.
It's always nice to have a custom color, the same color that's on the house.
We can do that.
So yeah, we'd probably just paint it the house, the siding color to make it blend in and flow nicely and not stand out as much.
Did you put roofing on here?
Yeah, the second one down, I just have a moire black. Yeah. And then the moire black looks really good because most solar panels are going all black. So in the future, if they do solar, the solar doesn't stand out when it's on the roof.
Jim, do you know if this is a cool roof requirement on here?
A what?
Cool roof?
I don't think we're in a cool roof area.
Okay.
I think San Luis is. But
City of Santa Maria is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that would be by statute then. What do you think? I was just looking at that the other day. I think we're in a zone that, well, that's proposed stuff I was looking at. But
Yeah, I'm not sure. Something to look at though.
But yeah, you guys need to check to make sure your roofing doesn't need to be a lighter color.
Well, they have some dark colors that are cool now too, but
Oh, they do?
actually.
Yeah, it's
CertainTeed makes CertainTeed actually makes one now that's supposed to, you can actually get most of their colors in one that's actually supposed to keep the roof cooler. I can't remember the exact term of it right now, but I have been seeing it on their website quite frequently now.
Yeah, I know it is available. They do have it. You have to check to make sure that emissivity is correct, but I think there are some that do comply because I've done a lot of certain heat as well. Okay, well, I'm
Well,
basically okay with this one, Jim. I don't know.
Yeah. One other comment I just remembered. At your entry on your building to the right, I think over the door, I think there's a beam. And then if you look at the west elevation, then if you look at the north elevation, you've got an opening. And think about how that's going to work. Your beam drops down lower in the front than on the side, and just think about that. Do you follow what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we could wrap that beam around to make it more cohesive and uniform. And that would.
But then where do you stop? Where do you stop it? So think it through. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it looks good either way, but I understand what you're saying about where is the transition.
Yeah, well, you'd probably see the end of the beam on, well, yeah, just work it out.
So, okay.
That was the only other thing I see on my drawings. Other than that, I think it's going to be nice. What are you going to do with the metal building?
Metal building is just going to stay as it is. Maybe in the future, Mike would like to fix up a little bit, but for now, it's just going to stay as it is until maybe he has the funds to address it.
Okay.
What's the dimension between the two buildings?
So between
5 feet.
Yeah, between the
I can't
two
read
new
the
ones.
drawing. Yeah, between the two major buildings, not the metal building.
I'm
Yeah,
zooming
between
in.
the two new ones is 5 feet. Yeah.
It's 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yep. And then between the metal building and the single car garage, that one's 10 feet.
So Tina, is that allowable by the zoning ordinance? 5 feet?
Yes. Yeah, that works.
That was one of her initial review corrections, was to get that correct.
Okay.
Does any other board members have comment at this time?
Where there could possibly be some building code issues with the 5 feet.
Yeah, just opening sizes and all that stuff. So.
Well,
Yeah,
one
fire
other
protection.
question is there any landscaping that we're going to be reviewing on this?
So we're not proposing any landscaping for this project.
Is it
Tina,
required?
her planner letter verified that there's no landscaping required.
Yeah.
Landscaping only kicks in, at least the water conservation part of it, when it's a residential project over 5.
Based on our initial review, I spoke.
What was that, Kevin? 500 square feet?
5,000 square feet. So they're well under that here. So, and Tina, in her planner letter, verified that landscaping is not required for a project like this.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Are there any last minute comments from the board?
I'm good.
I'm okay.
Then as you guys are agendized for preliminary review, and I don't see anything outstanding other than you just, continuing along with your architectural and the construction drawings, detailing out those items that were commented on, address those, or consider some of the other aesthetic comments by board members. I don't see any reason why we can't grant preliminary approval at this time and this project move forward. With that said, I'll ask for a motion to grant preliminary approval and have you return for final.
So move.
Second.
If you all in favor, say aye.
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 Well, good luck, Trevor. Continue on with your construction docs. Things look good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you guys for your time and your input.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right.
Thank
moving
you.
On to agenda item number 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anyone in the public that would like to make comment on this particular item? Not seeing anyone's hand raised. We'll now move on to item number 3. Yeah, number 22.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to
Yes.
leave the meeting now unless you need me afterwards.
You're going to be cool with us closing the meeting later on, right?
Yes, if you, for some reason you need me, just give me a call on my cell phone.
All right.
I'll log
Thank you.
back in.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay.
All right, with that said, we'll move on to item number 3, BR number 22-00144, the Starbucks in Orchid. If the representative is ready, go and introduce yourself for the record and begin your presentation.
Morning, everyone. My name is Robert from Milford. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I'm the architect representing Chase Partners and Starbucks. As you recall, we went through the preliminary review last time, and you guys asked me to take a look at the exterior elevations. Have worked closely with Starbucks, and if somebody can share my screen, or if they want to bring up the colored elevations that I submitted, that would be fantastic for us to look at.
Apologies, the colored elevations.
Yes. Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
So as requested last meeting, if you can go to the second page, just primarily the question was that the north elevation was the street visible side. So we've introduced the metal panels back on that side, and we put up the 2 green walls. I also went ahead and took the metal panels and I flipped it around that it's also around the main entrance. Starbucks has also changed their mind. They don't want to do the brick on any of the projects anymore. They want to use what we call a face shell. It's just a CMU block face shell. It'll be 6 inches by 16 inches and about 3 inches thick. And then we went ahead and we put the bronze colored awnings on it.
Excuse me, hang on. I'm still seeing the residential project, so I don't know if it's up on the screen somewhere.
Let me stop share and reshare again because it should be the Starbucks screen.
Yeah, I was seeing the Starbucks screen, so.
Let's try it again.
What are you seeing? Jim, are you getting it or?
I got it. Yeah.
So much. What are you seeing now, Steve?
I'm still seeing the residential project, so.
Huh.
How do you refresh it?
I think you would leave and come back. That's that's how I would assume you would get refresh for Zoom, unfortunately.
All right.
Are you going to do that, Steve?
I guess so.
Okay, we're going to wait for Steve.
Don't wait for me.
Oh, we have to.
Wait, no, I
Got it? You hit the refresh button and it came back?
And I just got off the phone with Bobby. He'll be joining us momentarily.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Bobby.
Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was a little bit late for the second one, guys.
It looks like Steve is back too.
Okay, I think I'm back,
Yay.
amazingly enough. Okay, sorry for the interruption.
Are you able to screen correctly, Steve?
I do. I see the correct screen.
Okay, correct.
Okay, so what I did is I matched up the awnings to match up with the metal panels, and I took the metal panels around and I took them over the main entry door too. So by doing this, you may recall last time I said that Starbucks kind of wanted to do a monochrome paint color. By doing this, I have the monochrome paint color that Starbucks wants, and all the accent colors are now going to be the high rib metal panels in the dark bronze.
A really pretty clean look.
It's really stark, and it doesn't seem to be compatible with anything in the neighborhood or proposed on that project property or next to it. I'm not loving the black and white, and the green panels in the front are got to do more with it than that, I think.
So I can make the green walls bigger. Unfortunately, Starbucks is adamant that they want to go with the monochrome. So
Well, we're adamant not,
yeah. So
but I know that they'll change their mind if it's the least resistance. So let's just do it that way.
do you want to not use the metal panels, or do you want to, because last time you kind of said you wanted to see metal panels since it was all up and down the road. So I can go
I don't
back
think
and
I don't think we said metal panels. We needed it designed. We want you to design it. We don't want to design it. But it's got to be, the design also has to carry forward to the side that faces the street. This is the first thing that you see coming in to town. So it's kind of a greeting thing. And this is extremely plain. And monochrome. Monochrome's going to be popular for 10 minutes, but I don't know.
Okay. Let me go back to Starbucks and tell them the monochrome is unacceptable. I'll make the green panels bigger so that we can make that expanse of that wall less white per se, off-white. Are you guys in favor of the metal panels, or do you want me to try something different from the metal panels? Because last time I had it as brick and painted, and it sounded like it was more to make it look like more projects up and down the street that were metal panels. Maybe I misunderstood that. So
We suggested you look at the Starbucks down the street, which I think is all Corten and wood panels.
Or tile looking like
Tile. Yes, tile. Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah, but that building also had the metal panels on it, and that's the
Right.
new look from Starbucks is the metal panels. The Corten and the wood that they had, that was that recycled wood they went through like 5 years ago. You can't even get that material anymore.
We're not trying to copy, but just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
give you a flavor of material expression and that sort of thing. The black and white start could be anywhere on 101.
And unfortunately, that's where Starbucks wants to be. So we'll have to push them out of their comfort zone, like whoever was that said that. So I'm just looking for what type of materials do you want to see that I can push them out of their zone. So, I mean, if you guys are cool, the one down the street had the dark metal panels on it. That's still in the new color palette. I think I can get them to let me have a second color. And that way it's not going to be so monochrome. I can do some color banding on it so that at least it's not the single color. But that's really what Starbucks is doing all up and down California right now is the monochrome. But like you said, I can push them out of that. So.
Okay. And then it's CMU on the front and back, the black areas. Is that right?
No, the CMU is the band around the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the bottom.
That was going to be brick, and they have now changed out of the brick. They want to go with a CMU. I could use your guys' help, but you guys helped me to say that has to be sandblaster or something because they actually want it to be precision CMU, and I'm totally against that.
Oh, no. Yeah. We like what you just said.
Either that or maybe split face, or there's another option.
Some to
There's a lot of
represent the,
options for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
to
split
represent
face.
material.
Yeah, split face, when you do it as a face shell, gets very irregular. It gives it a really super too rough look. Whereas if we do a sandblasted one, at least gives it then I can get the shales and the pumice and the colored cement to come through.
I think that'd be more refined.
Okay. So yeah, so I'll use
And
that.
the other thing that's odd, that how come they don't, on the north elevation, why don't they take that little awning and extend it to make it symmetrical around that vertical piece? Wouldn't
There's
that
a
look
window.
better?
There's a window on that left-hand side for the barista to be able to look at the cars as they're coming down the drive-through lane.
Yeah.
And that's why they want that wrap around that side. I've fought with them for 5 years on making the thing symmetrical, put it around both sides, and they're adamant against that. I tried to get them to not do the one on the left-hand side, and no, we got to have shading on that window for the barista to see the car coming into the drive-through. So
Well, facing that direction, you're not ever going to have any sun on it. But that being said, it would look better if it was symmetrical.
I'll try it again.
Well,
I agree. But they are adamant about it's got to be on that side. So
It's a north wall and it's facing sunrise. Well, in the winter it will get wet. It will get some. But in the sunrise.
What is the dark material there?
that is a MBCI high rib metal panel with a dark bronze finish on it.
Placed horizontally.
Yeah, placed horizontally. It's the same basic material as the one down the street had on it.
Yeah.
They've been using that material for years. Makes it that nobody can stick their gum to it when they're at the drive-through window.
That's because we're people. That's what we do.
Gotta have some place to stick it so you don't have it in your mouth when you drink that $7 cup of coffee, you see. So,
Hey.
would you believe, guys, they're now sticking it to the bottom of that little shelf that we put out there to set the coffee?
Absolutely. I believe that.
So now we're having to close off the bottom of that. We can't leave that open anymore because it ends up just being a gum placement area. So
You might just make it a feature and leave it up
there you go.
in San
Give
Luis.
that Berkeley look. So
Go to Gum Alley in San Luis Obispo. That's always a tourist attraction.
I must have missed that one in San Luis Obispo. So,
Oh yeah, go there and look.
yeah, Berkeley, they celebrate. It's like, okay, so massing the building, okay, guys. And I didn't hear. Are you guys okay with that metal panel if I go monochrome or if I go a couple of colors on the face of the building?
Well, it's just a box. That's
Yeah.
why we have to make the box nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They wanted to even box you guys. Quite honestly, they didn't want those two elements sticking up above the parapet. They wanted all one height, and I'm going, absolutely not. It has to be raised.
Well, it's not only about selling coffee. It's about being good neighbors.
Exactly. So, yeah, so I'll go back to him and I'll say we got to go multicolors on the building. I'll make the green walls bigger and I'll tell them that we need to do a sandblast finish on the CMU veneer if that's what you guys are thinking you'd like to see.
I think it'd be nicer.
Okay.
Was there any other items that we need to address on this other than that?
If I recall, the site plan we were all pretty okay on. We had the patio on the non-wind side of the building. And the drive-through layout, I think, was fine last time. I had sent the site plans back through to Ben. I don't see it on the screen right now, but it's the same site plan. It didn't change anything from the last time. I thought the only thing we were coming back through was to make the building look a little bit less like it was in the Central Valley of California and try to do something with the appearance on it. So.
With that, is there any other additional comments from the board at this time?
Nope.
With that, I mean, just neighborhood compatibility, good luck with Starbucks.
Thank you. I'm going to need that. So, assumption I'm coming back through. we can't just work this out with Ben?
Well, we're gonna need to grant final approval on this.
Okay.
So you're gonna come back to us. Go ahead and work with your planner, work with Starbucks. Good luck with that. And we will see you the next time you come through it.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's more conceptual next time?
Turn further conceptual.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because I think he's gonna have an uphill fight with Starbucks.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So I think we're gonna have to have at least one more conceptual review before we get into it.
Or however many he requires.
Yeah. Because at some point he's just not. He's gonna use up all his visits, and then they're gonna get.
Does that count for commercial? I don't think so.
So with that said, we're going to move on to the last item on today's agenda. Jim, I am going to turn over the reins back to you, and I will rejoin for the close of the meeting.
Who isn't out? Is Kevin Kevin involved in the last one?
He is involved in the landscape, so he's recused himself already on that. So it will be up to you, Steve, and Bobby.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I lost the internet on that at the end of the last one, so.
Well, you're back now.
Okay.
All right. So Jim, I will leave it in your hands.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is item 4, Orchid Gas Stations. Somebody's got a lot of noise on their end.
That sounds like Bobby's phone.
Bobby, you're. This is Orchid Gas Station 00009. Who is presenting? We need a presenter.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, this is Brian Tetley with Urban Planning Concepts, land use agent for the applicant for the Orchid Gas Station. If we could get the plan set up on the screen on the cover sheet, that'd be great. Thank you. We're pleased to be back finally before you guys. The last time you saw this project was in early 2019. Since then, we've gone through the discretionary process for the development plan conditional use permit to permit this gas station. And just for those who aren't familiar with the site, this is the empty lot on the southeast corner of Lakeview Road and Orcutt Road across the street into the south of Spencer's and the muffler shop. Some of you may recall this was a gas station back to the 60s, a mobile station that was there for decades and then was demolished in, I think, late 1999 and has been vacant ever since. Do we have the site plan available as well?
Sheet 1.
There we go. Okay, so here you can see, and some of you may recall back to 2019, it seems like forever ago now, right? The project has changed somewhat since then. Back then, there was the project was oriented to the north and south direction, and that has been revised now to an east-west orientation for both the fuel island, 4-station fuel island, as you can see with the 2,800 square foot canopy. And then on the south side is the mini mart convenience store with a retail lease space of just over 5,000 square feet proposed there. And we went back and looked at the comments from 2019, and I think we've responded to the comments at the time. The building has changed in treatment and style since then. And so unless there's any questions about the site or the site plan itself.
The entrances changed, didn't they, from the last time?
I think the entrances are the same that were proposed before. They're currently with the the old gas station, there were 4 curb cuts. 2 additional ones that were closer to the northwest corner. Those are going to be disused and just focus on the one shown.
Oh,
So
that's
that
what the
will-
black is.
Yeah, right. Those are existing curb cuts that will not be utilized on this project for circulation and traffic concerns and just how the site is arranged.
Brian, do you have a site plan that shows some dimensioning for the gas islands and the parking there?
Yeah, if we go to the next sheet, C 2.0.
I may lose internet again. It shows it's unstable.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, so we have some dimensions shown on this one. We got 13 parking spaces just to the north of the entrance of the convenience store, a trash enclosure on the southwest corner. Then we have the landscape islands and storm detention facilities to the northwest, a little one to the northeast.
And what was the reason why we couldn't move this building to the south?
That,
Open up
that's
that parking area. I think that there's going
Yeah.
to be some traffic conflicts out there.
Yeah, that's a provision in the zoning ordinance because we have residential zoning to the south. It bumps up the required rear yard setback to 25 feet because of that.
How does it work
Works.
on the right side then? Isn't that residential too?
It is, but that portion of the ordinance doesn't address side yards, only rear yards.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And we couldn't get around that at the Board of Supervisors. So that's what we're working with.
Well, because I think you're going to have traffic conflicts out there in that parking lot, people backing in and out of the parking stalls and trying to pull in and out of those gas islands.
Mhm.
It just seems really tight to me.
Hmm.
What is that? From the apron looks like it's, I can't read the dimension.
27 feet.
27
Well, to the
apron.
yeah,
Yeah.
to the
Okay. Well, that's what the Board of Supervisors want. Who's the planner on this?
There isn't a planner at the moment, but I can help answer questions.
What's
it'll-
the zoning to the south? Is that Shannon? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So Gwen's assigned this, but she won't be back until next month, and there isn't a zoning clearance in on it yet, to my knowledge, at least. Could be.
We've applied. It just hasn't come through the system yet.
Okay, thanks, Brian. I'm not sure. It's R1 of some sort. Do you know off the top of your head, Brian?
Yeah, it's R1 to the south. We're a neighborhood commercial on this site.
Isn't there a shop in the back of that site or a garage or something that's on that side? I don't remember. I thought there was an aerial before, but maybe, I guess.
Yeah, if we can go to the cover sheet, it shows the residence, and I think it's a shop building to the south.
Okay. I guess I'm beating a dead horse here, but it just seems absurd to have 25 feet of no man's land there, basically. But anyway.
Yeah.
or it looks like, is that an existing tree that you're saving too?
No, I don't believe any existing trees are remaining.
Okay, because it's on the plan here.
Oh, I see.
But it's not on the other plan.
Yeah, we show that being removed in the landscaping plans. There's an exhibit that shows all the trees to be removed, includes that one.
We don't have landscaping plans, do we?
They should have been submitted with the packet, the preliminary landscape plans.
No, 8 is. No, it looks to me like it's a sycamore tree, and I think that's existing. Is that right?
Were you referencing that to, Jim?
On TIP 01, which would be the last sheet.
Yeah, that's right. All those existing trees are to be removed, and that was part of the environmental review.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Remove. Okay.
Well,
There actually are landscaping plans at the end of this set. So if you scroll down to the 10th PDF sheet, 10th and 11th, there are landscaping plans there.
has this project been reviewed by the traffic engineers for the county, or is it required to be?
It was, and also the traffic engineers from the city of Santa Maria and Caltrans, I believe, too. Brian could speak to that.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic review, especially since the appeals were partially related to perceived traffic issues.
Yeah, because it's right next to the crosswalk for the school, is it not?
Yeah, just to the north and east of the site is that
Right.
signalized crosswalk, yes.
It shows on the last plan, which sheet 10. Would you go to sheet 10 for just a sec?
We are on sheet 10, I believe.
I mean 11. Sorry. Yeah. See up there's the crosswalk. Upper right.
Oh yeah, okay.
Brian, what's the pattern behind a building? Next, I don't see a key to show what that is. Is it just ground cover?
It could be pavers.
Could
It's not
be.
planted. It shows on CLP-01 permeable pavers.
So those
It's
are pavers
labeled
behind it.
Pavers, yeah, they need access for loading and unloading.
And then there's a little, but there's no trees or anything like that between the residential and the proposed building. Are they going to drive on that? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, there's gonna be trucks backing up and loading and unloading from there. We just
Yeah,
have that narrow landscaping strip with ground cover between the southern property line and that paved area.
They had to fit a commercial loading space somewhere on the site, and obviously it's a tight site. So it's placed in the setback there.
So there's no way to get any landscaping in, or there's a little strip, but that looks like.
Yeah, it's just a little strip. Yeah.
Are there any there's no trees on this site proposed?
Oh yeah, there's a number of trees proposed on sheet CLP-01.
Is that the last sheet? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can see there's I think a total of 6 street trees along the frontage and then 2 trees on either end of the parking area.
Jonathan, if you can show sheet 9, it shows where the proposed trees are.
Gotcha.
Oh, thank you. I was on the wrong.
It looks like behind the permeable pavers, they are proposing some creeping fig. Is there a wall back there, Brian, that's going to be climbing?
It says there's an existing CMU wall.
Okay.
Concrete block wall.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So Steve, anything else about the site that you want to ask about? I see the garbage down in the lower left. I suppose we look at that later.
We like to refer to it as a trash enclosure.
There you go. It's more palatable.
If we can, yeah, if you want to move on to the floor plan and elevations, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Araki of Martinez and Associates, and he can go through the architectural colors, materials, and details.
Okay, Mr. Araki.
Yeah. So this is another rectangular box, like the Starbucks for. It's 38 feet by 133 feet, and I looked through what was submitted previously, the last BR review, and it's basically the same building, and Mike just flipped it over. So yeah, there's a mini mart, deli, and of course gas station, and then there's a leasable empty space to the east, on the east side of the building. The finishes are all, it's mainly concrete wall panels, wall cladding. The panels are like 5/8 inch thick. And then around the entries where there's, around the entry doors, there's core 10 steel corrugated metal panels. I guess directly around.
Can we go to the
storefronts,
elevations
there's
on screen?
Yeah, go to CB1. Sorry about that.
What was the number?
CB1. It's sheet 8.
Sheet 8.
Yeah. So that reddish brown is the core 10 panels, corrugated kind of. And then the gray paneling is the concrete wall paneling. It's cladding. And then the horizontal siding around the storefronts, which you see, that's reclaimed wood. Yeah.
And where's the reclaimed wood around immediately around the windows?
Yeah, you see the horizontal
Yeah.
lines around the storefront. Yeah, that's all reclaimed wood. And then the storefronts are anodized, clear anodized, which is just silver, basically.
How does the elevation distances work? The core 10 pops out and then it pops back in again at the reclaimed wood?
Yeah, I think it pops out like 6 inches, I believe.
And then it goes back to the same face?
It goes back to the reclaimed wood. Yeah. It's only about 6 inches from what I'm seeing.
How tall is the ceiling inside?
Ceiling inside?
Yeah.
It's got to be around 12 feet, over 12 feet. Storefronts are about 12 feet.
Because we've got the height of this building is what?
22 feet to the main, and then the little projections are 24 feet.
Because it's quite tall. Is that to create a well for all of your mechanical?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there should be a well.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume a 4-foot well, at least. So
the doors look tiny. The entrance doors, how tall are they?
They look about, I want to say they're like 7 feet. 7 feet. You want them higher? Is that what you're saying?
The way that they're fit in that opening, they look tiny.
Mm-hmm.
What is the black dark panel that's running around the top at about 12 feet?
That's the same kind of concrete panel. It's just a different color. And it's a different finish, too. It's a rough finish. So it's a concrete panel. The lighter concrete panels are smooth finish, I guess. Yeah, and then that band at the top of the window is a rough finish.
And then the little awnings that run around the building, those are core 10 too?
No, yeah, Michael changed that last minute yesterday. I think he accidentally colored those to look like Horton, but they're actually just galvanized. They're unfinished galvanized.
And is there a lid on the top, or are they're not open, right? They're covered for rain and that sort of thing?
I'm not exactly sure what he was. I would think they would be open, just more like a architectural feature. But I'm not 100% sure what he intended for that.
I think you need to work on, there's lots of grids on this thing, and they don't work together exactly. Like there's the grids that's on the windows in the main entrance. Then there's the grid that's over on the minor entrance, which you've got small ones at the top and big ones in the middle. And the door looks really small. I just think that you need to rethink the patterns somehow. And then you've got grids that are on the concrete panels that sort of are one shape in the front and another shape in the back. And sometimes you can have bigger panels at the bottom and smaller panels at the top, maybe, as we saw on the last thing on the Starbucks plan. That also you want to try to break that height up somehow, because it's really big, particularly on the back. There's no trees or anything. The fence facing the residential is only going to be as high as those doors, and they're going to see the whole back of that thing. It's nice that you put the awnings on it, but it's a really big building, tall building for what it is, I think. What do you think, Steve? Is that?
Right.
I don't even know if I'm in or on. I guess I can hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me. So
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it is a massive scale here for what it is. I'm missing half the conversation because my internet keeps dropping out.
Man,
I don't know what the problem is, but overall, I like it. I think the colors work nice together. I think I agree with you, Jim, that maybe we want to look at the how we break up that fenestration a little bit more.
Yeah. And the other,
particularly the center part, I think that the upper mullion could be raised up a foot or two and just have a small clear story window or transom window above the door, and then have a little bit larger, and it might
enhance the size of the entrance.
Yeah,
there's
the
also a
proportions just
panel
look strange. Yeah.
below those windows that is the same finish as the other panels, but maybe it shouldn't be the same material, I don't know, or a different color or something to enhance that entrance a little bit. There's also a window that's to the right of the entrance that doesn't fit on any of the grids and doesn't seem to have any trim around it. I don't know how that works. And
yeah, it's a little offset.
It doesn't line up with anything, and the grids are very difficult, to get them just right. But I think you need to work on those some more.
We're on agendas for conceptual. I think we can move this on to preliminary. Jim, what do you think?
Yeah, there's, in terms of like where it goes and all that sort of stuff, I'd like to see them use some devices to make it look smaller, shorter. And you need to kind of look at how the grids work better and how they fit together, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of different grids, and they don't need to all be the same. You can play with them, but
yeah, I agree. I think they need to line up with the window sills and the.
A little bit more. Yeah, I think you can just study that a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
my primary concern with this project is the site plan. I think it's going to be traffic conflicts, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. So I think the building is really close.
It won't be a problem if there's nobody getting gas or there's nobody parking, but if there's people parking and getting gas, they want to go in the same place.
Yeah. But I like what you guys are doing with the building. I think just a little bit of refinement, and to me it's close, and I think just a little refinement, you'll be there.
And
Okay.
and maybe try more than one color on it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not suggesting that's what you do, but just think about trying to minimize the height of it. You've got like grid lines going across on the panels that don't line up with the window mullions, that don't line up with the door necessarily. They're different shapes, and so it's hard to do that. And as Steve said, if you had some kind of a mullion system that accentuated the door and kind of outlined it, made it all look like a bigger in scale thing, it'd be more inviting to go in.
Maybe the options go to an 8-foot door too. I mean, that would push that whole mullion line up.
Yeah, but there's a jillion. It's all on you guys. I don't want to try to design it in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the input and
Hey, Jim.
comments.
Yeah. That Bobby?
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
That's Bobby. Yeah. How about just like more windows above the doors to make that whole thing, more of a storefront around the door that kind of would make it look just a little bit more massive and more inviting without changing the door heights, but to change just the windows around there. I don't know if it can be done or not. It's just
that's what Steve was kind of suggesting. And we want a functional size door and not something that's so massive that, my aunt can't get through it, open it up.
Right.
Yeah. But it looks tiny on there.
No, I agree. If you could, I think just with some storefront action around the door might just make it look, a little bit more inviting and a little bit, and just make it look a little more massive, and give them a couple different places to bring their mullion lines into.
Yeah, well, but we don't want to say that's what you have to do, but just
look
at the whole overall thing. Yeah, look at the whole overall thing.
Yeah, just another suggestion about the way it's appearing.
Yeah, you've got an outfit with plaids and plaids and plaids, and all the plaids have to work.
What's happening behind the right-hand window there, the sort of solo window? Can that be?
It goes into the retail space.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that could easily be moved, I think.
Well, you can scoot it. I mean, and moving it. I like having it just poke a hole in the side of the building. It's kind of neat, but you can make it any shape you want because it's just an accent thing.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it needs to align with the grid line at least.
Either it has to line up or not line up. I mean, but not just about line up. And then look at the panels below the main windows and the entrance and see if that's what you want to do. Continue with it. There's no grid lines on that at all. Chop it up into little ones or change material or change colors.
Yeah.
Would also be interesting.
Yeah. Again, I
think
think
getting rid of that lower wall under that storefront would make it look.
I think that could help.
Yeah, draw it one way, draw it another way, draw it 100 ways.
Yeah. But I think you're close overall. And I think the general form is good. I think what Jim's saying is what we can do to maybe minimize the visual impact of the scale is a good thing. I like the canopy. I like the way you handled the canopy. I think that looks good.
Okay.
I mean, a lower colored band to make it feel like it's on a podium too. That might help, might hurt. Who knows? Just give it a try and see.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your agenda is for what? Conceptual?
Conceptual. So we don't vote on that. We just say, thanks for coming. And is there any questions you'd like to ask of us?
Hey,
No.
can I interrupt 1 second?
Yes, you can.
We had to put out a revised agenda. It was uploaded. They're actually here for preliminary.
Oh, so this is agendized for preliminary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Jim. I'm okay with giving it preliminary.
Preliminary with our comments.
Yeah.
It probably shouldn't. I don't know what happened, but before there's a planner assigned to review this with compliance with the conditions that came out of the appeal and everything. I mean, I don't have enough background to weigh in on that, and no one has looked at that.
So Shannon, since there's no planner, maybe we should just continue. But we like the project.
Yeah. I mean, you could have it come back for prelim and final if you wanted. There's, it's up to you guys, but
I'd like it to come back preliminary final. We can give it preliminary or final, whichever one is appropriate. But since there's no planner assigned, we're getting ahead of ourselves, I think, by giving it preliminary approval. But that said, we don't have really any objections to the majority of it. It's just fine tuning the facade and all of our comments. Does that sound right, Steve? Steve's gone.
This is Brian. I think that's
Hi,
really
Brian.
good direction.
Okay.
Appreciate the comments and look forward to seeing you guys again.
Okay. So next, what's next on our agenda? Do we get Michael back?
We do get Michael back. This is the last item on the agenda.
Is Michael going to close it out?
Let me see if I can get him back right now.
You guys wrapped up?
Yes.
So is there anything else that we need to discuss with regards? Jonathan, when is our next meeting scheduled?
Our next meeting, 1 second.
And are we within the time limit for COVID?
Our next meeting will be October 28th, so we do not have to have a special meeting between now and then.
Yay.
Perfect. That's what I thought. All right, with that said, I'll ask for a motion to close today's meeting.
Yes, I do.
Second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate your time and your comments. We'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.
See you.
Everybody, thank you.